Good evening, everyone. It's the Board of Trustees regular meeting. It's May 28th, 2019. It is 7:33 p.m. This is meeting 2019-10. Please take the roll.
President Barry?
Here.
Trustee Mallow?
Here.
Trustee Stalker?
Here.
Trustee Olenichik?
Here.
Trustee Desmond will not be here tonight. Trustee Phelan?
Here.
And Trustee Vorder.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Would everyone rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. We have public comments. We have Joan Bushbach and Joe Skabinski talking about Oakland A to Z at the library. Welcome. If you could come to the podium, please.
We have a presentation to give to the village on behalf of the Oakland Library. And this was hand-painted and presented by one of the members of the library, or one of the employees, actually. So we're presenting it to the village tonight.
Well,
Very nice, thank you.
thank you.
I gotta get up and see that exhibit. Our current exhibit is Oakland A to Z. And we
Okay,
have-
can you speak in the?
Our current exhibit at the library is Oakland A to Z. It goes through our history from when the first settlers arrived. It's amazing how much history is in this town. I encourage everyone to stop by. It'll be there for a few months. Take advantage of it. And this is
Thank
for
you.
you in the village.
Well, we're going to enjoy that. Thank you. That's awesome. So if I went to the library, where would I see this exhibit?
We're going to hang it here. We want you to put it where people will see it.
We'll hang it here, but if you want to see the whole exhibit, you have a special exhibit going on right now, correct? And that's upstairs in the local history room. Yeah, so you just go upstairs.
A marvelous historian. He's the one that put this together.
So, thank you very much, and let's go to the library.
And in addition to this, our archivist, Kevin Horst, we've got like 26,000 items in a database. And this is just a few of the pieces in our exhibit that we've culled from the entire collection. It's amazing.
That's awesome. I'm going to pass this around so the board can enjoy it, and we'll hang it at Village Hall in a prominent place. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna sit here and read it. I go back to I.
Okay, Terry Vorder says he goes back to the letter I. Okay, thank you very much. That's really nice. We have conflict of interest disclosure. Does anyone have a conflict to disclose with any item on tonight's agenda? Okay, hearing none. Item 5, swearing in of new firefighter paramedics. We have Ibrahim Hindi and Zachary Saborn, excuse me. And I'm going to ask you guys to come on up. Are you here? Very good. Let's come on up. We're going to start with Ibrahim. Right over here. Okay.
I, Ibrahim Hindi,
I, Ibrahim Hindi,
having been appointed
having been appointed
to the position of firefighter paramedic
to the position of firefighter paramedic
in the village of Oakland, County of Cook,
in the village of Oakland, County of Cook,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of firefighter paramedic
of firefighter paramedic
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Welcome. That's good.
I promise I'm not gonna stab you.
You're set.
Maybe I'll slap you. If you bleed. Paramedic,
Careful with that.
paramedic, heal thyself, right?
I'm getting out of the way.
Need sharper pins.
That's nice.
The trustees will introduce your family here, then shake hands. Any family to introduce tonight?
I have my brother over there.
Okay, hi, he's very proud. Thank you.
Good job.
And Zachary. Hi, how are you?
Good.
Exciting day.
Yes.
Hey, Zachary. See you again.
Same thing. I, Zachary Saborn.
I, Zachary Sabrin,
Saborn, okay. Having been appointed
having been appointed
to the position of firefighter paramedic
to the position of firefighter paramedic
in the village of Oakland, county of Cook,
in the village of Oakland, county of Cook,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of firefighter paramedic
of firefighter paramedic
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
That top line.
It's quite the pin there,
Thank
Chief.
you. I'm getting out of the way this time.
I'm gonna try not to make you bleed.
Thank you.
Any family with you here today?
Yes, I have my mom Cheryl, my dad Greg, both my grandparents Dave and Sandy,
Wow,
girlfriend Jamie, and April Padalik. She was one of my references.
very nice. It's like the paparazzi with this.
Congratulations.
And I'm gonna just ask Chief to stay at the podium. Would you like to say a couple words, Chief?
Ma'am, first I want to thank the village board, the mayor, and the village manager for the hiring of these two young men. Abe and Zach have taken an oath to serve the citizens of Oak Lawn. That oath is a serious oath, because and Chief Palmer and I will both say, this is going to be a long career. You guys took an oath to potentially lay your lives down, protecting the citizens of this community. And you also took an oath of service, and that's the most important thing. Service. You are now a public servant. Your loyalty is to the citizens of this town, as well as protecting them at all costs. So I want to thank you for entering the fire service and answering the calling. And I also want to thank you for taking on the challenge of your candidate year. It won't be easy. You guys know that already. But I look forward at the end of 12 months to see where you are at the end of the year, and I look forward to that, you finishing your probationary year. Congratulations on what will be a long and fulfilling career for you serving the citizens.
Together like your friend. I got what I need. Thank you.
Sorry. Well, he'll get it.
Did it?
All right.
Okay, thank you. And it's wonderful to see the show of support from our first responders here today. Thank you very much. Okay, item 6, a request to approve the St. Catherine of Alexandria Parish Carnival to be held at 10621 South Kedvale Avenue from June 5th to June 9th. May I have a motion, please, on item 6?
So moved.
Thank you, Trustee Phelan, that motion. Trustee Olenichek as our second. Any discussion? Anyone from St. Catherine's here? Let's call that vote, please.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. Item 7 is a request to approve Greek Fest to be held at St. Nicholas Greek Orthodox Church at 10301 South Colmar Avenue on June 15th and 16th. May I have a motion, please, on 7?
So moved.
Thank you. Trustee Phelan made that motion, seconded again by Trustee Olenichek. Any discussion here? Any representatives from that organization here? Thank you. Let's call that vote, please.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
8 is a request to approve the St. Catherine's Charge On 5K Walk Run to be held on Saturday, August 17th. May I have a motion on 8, please?
Move to approve.
Trustee Phelan made that motion, seconded by
Second.
Trustee Warder. Any discussion? Let's take that vote, please.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
9 is a request to approve the Sully Shuffle 5K Run and 3K Walk to be held on Sunday, September 29th. May I have a motion, please, on 9?
Motion to approve.
That was Trustee Olenichek.
Second.
And seconded, I'm going to give it to Trustee Mallow. Any discussion? Let's call that vote, please.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much. And 10 is approval of meeting minutes, regular meeting minutes 2019-09, dated May 14th, 2019. May I have a motion on 10?
Motion approved.
Thank you. Trustee Warder made that motion.
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Stalker. Any discussion? Let's call that vote, please.
Trustee Mallow?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Trustee Olenichek?
Yep.
Trustee Phelan?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you very much. Before we start trustee new business, I want to do just a presentation for residents on the storm situation. Tom, can you lower the screen, please? Thank you. So we had the wettest Memorial Day on record. Nearly 2 inches of rain fell in less than an hour in the village of Oakland. This was catastrophic in many ways. Our community, when it was built in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, didn't really plan for rainfall like that. And with weather being more volatile, we're getting these 100-year storms every few months sometimes. It's really, really a challenge to our current infrastructure. Chief told me they made about 15 to 20 rescues from vehicles. Vehicles were stranded. It's a big, big issue. And I just wanted to take a few minutes, and I'll give trustees a chance to chime in also. This is an issue that faces our whole community. Could you go to the next slide, please, Tom? Thank you. This is a slide I want residents to really understand and take a look at. The village of Oak Lawn is a small portion of that, but if you think of the more orange colors, that's a lower elevation. And the cooler colors, like the green, that's a higher elevation. And many people wonder why the flooding seems worse below 99th Street between 99th and 111th. Well, that's one of the lowest points in Cook County, actually. Many residents were saying, it stopped raining, but the water's still going up. Why? What does this mean? What's going on? How can the water still be going up? It's because we're taking water from all those yellow and green areas, and guess what? It's going right there into the heart of our community, like a basin filling, like a teacup. And it's a big, big problem. So trying to get the water out of there as quickly as it comes in is a logistical problem this board has struggled with since at least 2008, if not longer. There's a few other slides here. Probably the one who's been involved in this the most is Trustee Olenichek. Trustee Olenichek, you've been involved with Public Works for a long time, and you've got a long tenure on the board. I'm going to turf some of this to you. Before I do, though, I just want to thank the residents for helping each other. It's very hard when you have a senior and they can't get out and clear the debris from the storm sewer. Neighbors were helping neighbors. Our first responders were phenomenal, and especially our Public Works team. Steve Wettest, your team was out there yesterday. They were amazing. And today, residents commented over and over on how quickly all of that debris was being cleaned up, and the street sweepers were out. I want to thank our management team, Larry. But Trustee Lanichuk, you want to talk a little bit about the history of this?
Yes, I would. The water problem in the village of Oak Lawn, for us lifelong residents, we all know that it's been around for a long period of time. We as a village board have worked for over 10 years to come to an ability to mitigate the amount of water that we can handle at any given time. Yesterday was a perfect storm. We got hit with over 2.5 inches in about a 25, 30-minute period of time. And as the mayor said, we are in a low point. And if you look at the surrounding communities, especially coming from north to south, the water comes through the village of Oak Lawn, either through the Oak Lawn Lake, which would be then defined as the north branch of Stony Creek, or the south branch of Stony Creek, which comes up Wolf Wildlife. The issue is you have this funnel of all this water, both north and south, coming through the village of Oak Lawn that can only get out through Stony Creek, which travels west. On top of that, we have water that is displaced into that same creek that we are putting our water into, coming from the Melvina Ditch all the way down at 87th, just off of Ridgeland. It's a lot of water that's coming through a very, very narrow area. So the only thing that we can do as a village is look to displace that water until Stony Creek catches up and it gets into the CalSag. And that's why we had mentioned the St. Casimir project. We've worked hard with MWRD. We've been in negotiations with Catholic cemeteries. And do we have a slide of the Catholic cemetery, St. Casimir? The water retention that we could have by purchasing this at fair market for us in the very east end of the town would give us enough displacement in the lower corridor of that 103rd to 111th Street to be able to capture that water there until we could get it going out towards Stony Creek. The issue is right now is getting that land from the Catholic cemeteries. I know that the Cook County Commissioners are all aboard on it. From what I understand, the City of Chicago, because we'd have to annex that land from the City of Chicago, seems to be on board on it. And we've had good talks with the Catholic cemeteries in the Archdiocese of Chicago. The importance of this is if you could visualize how the retention pond off of 87th Street, how big that is and what they've done to expand it, that retention pond would be about 50% of what we would be getting by building into a retention pond over at St. Casimir. Is that correct, Larry?
Yep.
So just imagine having twice the amount of space to take this water that's affecting the lower half of the village of Oak Lawn. And how that affects everybody is the streets, when they back up because they don't have enough relief going out to Stony Creek. So every resident in the village of Oak Lawn, at some point or another, is affected by our ability to displace water. I know that unfortunately, the southern portion of the village of Oak Lawn got hit the hardest this time because it couldn't displace. We did have water, and streets are built to first pile up water there and hold them until it can clear. And then alleys and backyards are supposed to be your second resource. And then when it catches up, it's, I think one resident said, well, don't you guys just have a switch that you pull and all of a sudden it starts going out to the creek? It's not like that. The creek has to catch up to what water it can handle. So if you look at this as a project not just for water retention, and as the mayor said, in the time that I've been a trustee, we have had the 100-year storm, the 50-year storm, the 150-year storm, and every year it just seems to be getting worse. We have productively worked towards a solution that will help mitigate the damage that is happening by us not being able to displace water. And we have a vision for this property of making this into a nice green space, figuring it into a nice park with the ability to have a fresh stock lake, and then when the retention comes in, it would be able to fill up, but still always maintain some type of a water basin and make that into a recreation area. And we actually have plans to join our bike trail coming across from Wolf Wildlife into that area. That being said, it's a plan. We need every resident to understand that this will help us. Every study that's been done by MWRD has shown that the true solution would be to get water retention in this area. We need the residents to speak positively to their representatives. And if you have any relations with the Archdiocese of Chicago, we could use some push there because they own the land. We're willing to pay fair market value for it. And Larry, I believe that we do have some discussions coming up with them on that.
That is something that has been in the works, trustee.
Now, the final thing I will say about this land is even the Catholic cemeteries cannot develop this land because it's a normal wetland. So it's really not useful for much else other than to be able to make that water retention and make it a larger water retention. So in my 5 minutes of discussion of the Stony Creek, the one thing I want everyone to picture is if you've ever been at Stony Creek Golf Course, at the back end of Stony Creek on the very west side, you have the north branch and the south branch that come together, and then they go right under Ridgeland Avenue, and at that point, we have the Melvina Ditch water coming down right behind Chicago Ridge Mall and Pep Boys that joins that water to try to displace it going west.
Thanks, trustee. I think it's important to note that the pastors from our parishes have also supported this. And, I guess I just want to ask residents, should your street flood, please don't take chances. Don't take your car out in it and just think it's shallow water. We had cars stuck everywhere. The roads were impassable. Also, if the street looks like you can get a car through it, what you're doing as you drive down that street is making a wake that's throwing the water up into the neighbors' homes. There's areas of Oak Lawn, but in your district in particular, where homes are built on slabs. So not only is the home at ground level, every person who drives by, water is being thrown directly into their home, into their living room, into their bedroom, it's really a tough situation. So please, just, if the weather is bad and you see the streets flooded, just stay home. MWRD also suggested, not putting more water into the system. So if it's laundry day, maybe you could do laundry the next day. Try not to tax all the water going into the system.
Mayor, may I say something?
Yes, Tom?
I was going to address this in my new business, but because this chart is up there, my house, you could see my house right there. So I live right, where this problem occurs, actually right where the top of that blue line the right top corner blue line is pointing at my house. And my house lives on the block where invariably during these storms you see the kids in the canoes. And I know this storm there were 10 canoes all over the village, but it's become such a recurring problem that people have just almost accepted it. It's really sad. How many times people, they don't finish their basement, they can't use a quarter of their house. And there is a solution, and to Trustee Olenichik's point, it is the cemetery. That is not burial grounds. The other thing that a lot of people don't know relative to the elevation, so that map was very interesting color-wise. If you're not really sure, and it was pointed out to me years ago about where the elevation drop is, you go to 103rd and Pulaski, travel west on 103rd Street, and just look at the horizon. And you just see I believe the second biggest drop in elevation in Cook County, right into Bud's district, right into the north part of my district. And that left major thoroughfare there, that's Cicero Avenue, that's where a main sewer line goes down to the CalSag, correct, Larry?
Kilpatrick.
And houses and blocks on this side of Cicero feed into it, and on Bud's side feed into it. And people, Trustee Olenichik mentioned, why doesn't Oak Lawn flip the lever, pull the switch, open the valves, thinking that we control that because, to the mayor's point, the storms are over and we're still flooded. And at some point, that water down Cicero Avenue, coming from Burbank in the north, finally exits the pipe and we drain into it. And it is, you can see why people say it just magically goes down. And it's time we have to do something. The other thing I didn't know about, my father-in-law told me years ago, is that whole area is a very sandy soil, very tough to build on. I suspect that has something to do with the retention. And it's, as Trustee Olnich just said, the perfect storm scenario for people that live there between, where pipes tee, as opposed to nowadays engineering, I guess they're more fluid. When water goes banking into a T, it just backs up. And the last point that's so frustrating is the deep tunnel that we've read about for 45 years. My friend's father, the head of 150, Jim Sweeney's father, was one of the first guys working on deep tunnel in the 1960s, recently completed. It runs down Pulaski, Larry? I mean, within
Pulaski.
20 yards of Pulaski, borderline, literally Terry's district and mine, and we can't tap into that either. And some of the worst affected areas in my district are 20 yards from deep tunnel, from that pipe. So there's solutions here, and it's time we have to do something about it.
Agree.
The mayor, just today was on Channel 9, I just saw it pop on my feed. Mayor, kudos for that.
Yeah,
It's time we hold our leaders, both lay and public, to account for, doing what's right by their residents, by their parishioners.
Thank you.
Tommy, could you leave that on and just, Mayor, briefly, if I could,
Sure, Larry.
for residents of Oak Lawn? This is the main entrance to the cemetery during the open hours of the cemetery, like many residents do. Just drive in. Drive in and go down to this location and take a look at this property versus 87th and Melvina Reservoir, which has been expanded, and you'll see how vast this area is. And as Tom pointed out, these are existing bodies of water, again, low elevation, appropriate environmental use of the land. Highest and best use of this land, as determined by the city of Chicago when they came here, was for what was proposed by Oak Lawn, this basin. And Cicero Avenue, by the Southwest Mayor's Conference, unanimously adopted a plan, unanimously, that the highest and best use of that land is detention. All it takes is the Archdiocese and the Catholic cemeteries to agree for the quality of life on a regional basis for Alsip, Chicago Ridge, Mount Greenwood, in Oak Lawn. That's how that property should be used for generations going forward, as Tom brought out, rather than frustration of the current generation.
Thank you. Anyone else have anything to say?
Yeah, I appreciate you guys bringing this up. It's been a difficult battle trying to deal with the Archdiocese, but if everybody helps, we get there. We're making inroads, but it's very slow. I want to talk a little bit about the sewers in Oak Lawn. And, we had a hailstorm, and the hailstorm knocked half the leaves off the tree in my backyard. Those leaves all go down in the sidewalk and street, and they collect around the sewer. And one resident complained that we didn't have street sweeping before the rainstorm. Well, guess what? The streets were clean, and the hailstorm brought the leaves down. And we had neighbors out cleaning the sewers because they know that you got to keep those sewers clean, or the water will never go down. And I want to compliment those neighbors. I drove around a lot of areas in my district, and they were working hard to clear the sewers because we don't have enough police, fire, or public works people to go out and clean all those sewers. And you can walk out there with your boots on and use your rake or broom or whatever you want and clean them. And they were all doing it. And today, the yards looked amazing in that district because they've had this drill before. The storm knocks down all kinds of foliage. You get out there and you clean it. You clean your basement and move on. But there is a better solution, not for the leaves and the hail. But the better solution is a bigger detention basin where we can put water. So please, write to the Archdiocese of Chicago. Oak Lawn needs you. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other trustees want to add anything? I just want to say for the residents in Bud's district around Oakdale, that reservoir holds what's called 7 acre feet. So if you take an acre, make it 7 feet deep, that's 7 acre feet. Is that correct, Jack? So what we're proposing at St. Casimir, just to give people an idea, people say, well, when you built that, they promised that would fix it. It's not fixed. That's 7 acre feet. What we're proposing is between 200 and 400 acre feet. It's an, just magnify it on a level that, is massive. And we're so excited at the numbers and how they look. And then I think that's the last thing I wanted to say. No, Larry, there's been some discussion that the village has not reached out to the Catholic Church. Can you just briefly outline just the last few years, what's been going on?
I'll hold it up, Mayor,
Okay, that's the file.
including the village at their expense, bringing in the former president of the MWRD, Terry O'Brien, engineer, who did further study, because when he was president of MWRD, this is a priority. And they also, MWRD committed $15 million towards this project, obviously subject to the landowner working with Oak Lawn. And again, to me, this is a partnership project with the church helping parishioners that have been extremely supportive of the archdiocese, and hopefully they will see fit to move forward. But negotiations were face-to-face, in person, between the archdiocese, the Catholics, Catholic Cemeteries of Chicago, and Mr. O'Brien. And the record is complete with those communications.
Thank you
Can I
very
just
much.
add, Madam Mayor, that there was a letter sent to the Catholic cemeteries and to the archdiocese with all of the pastors signing unanimously in support of this project. And the only other thing I would ask is, I know Cardinal is a very busy man, but maybe we should ask him to come out and visit some of the areas, because some of the heaviest areas that were affected by it are St. Linus and St. Catherine.
Yeah,
So I think it would be good for him to come out and talk to the parishioners that are out there.
I think that's a great idea. Okay, thank you, Board, for indulging me. I just wanted to start this on the front end, because I think if we tackle it together in this fashion, we're better. So we're going to start new business by village trustees. District 6.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have one more item I wanted to bring up. I apologize for missing the last meeting. I was on my way and texting the mayor. I was coming from Indiana, and the projected arrival time was 7:42, and I didn't want to walk in the middle of Paul's speech or Bob's speech, so I want to welcome Paul here. And also, there was a discussion among some of us about maybe flip-flopping the order of the trustees. When we were first elected, Alex, in '05, you were down here, I was over there.
Can I have my old seat back?
Yeah, and, at the time, we said, why, there was really, it wasn't 1 through 6 this way, it was kind of a mishmash, but it was proposed, and I liked the idea. I mentioned it to the mayor. I don't know if anybody else has heard it, but it wouldn't be, I would like to be out of the firing line of the camera for maybe the next couple of years, so I can lose a little weight. But I don't know, give it some thought, the board members, what they think about it. Maybe next time we can, entertain a switch.
Could I sit in the revered Alex Olenichek's chair?
Yeah. Let the view over there.
We could make
No,
it,
I take the chair with me. I just,
I vote no.
it's a different
All I
lineup.
have this evening.
thank you. Thank you. District 5.
I said enough, thanks.
Thank you. District 4.
Thank you, Sandy. First off, I'd like to thank our staff, the police, the fire, the streets. What a response. Everybody was out there, including the village manager and the mayor, to address this crisis, which, again, seems to happen more often than ever. I've been around a long time. This was one of the best responses I've seen. In addition to that, Memorial Day event on the green, I want to thank the Oakland VFW, Commander Roy Johnson, Commander-elect Lumen. It was probably the best event that I've been to, and I've been to all of them for 40 years. Mayor, your speech was great. Jane, your speech was great. Paul, you were there. Great. Glad to see you there. Your speech was great, too. I would highly suggest, if you couldn't have made that event, it is on YouTube, and it is worth mentioning. Remember, that event is honoring the men and women that have given their life for this country and for your freedom, you certainly should pay a little bit of time and say a prayer for them and watch the event.
Thank
That's all
you.
I have, Mayor.
Thank you. District 3, Trustee Mallow.
Thank you, Terry. It was an amazing event. You were a tough act to follow. I had to follow your speech, which was quite difficult, but.
You did a great job.
Thank you. I did have a couple things, you covered it pretty much as far as the water concerned with our residents. I thank the police, the fire, the Public Works Department for helping our residents with their needs. Larry was out there, just amazing response to a tragedy that happened because some people are so dealing with this water in their house and they just don't know what to do and they don't know where to turn, and the village was there for them. The only other thing I had was in regards to the Advocate Open House. We had that last Wednesday. It was an amazing event. We were welcomed in by them. They put on an open house with some food and some music for the residents, and it was a good time. And I think we have a long-term neighbor with them, and look forward to them helping out our community. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. District 2.
I would just like to add some of the things the village has done to help mitigate the water issue is our slip lining that we've been doing to make sure that we got proper drainage. We're in, Brian, what year are we in that program right now? I think we're in year 4. Yeah, 4. So some of the neighborhoods that normally would get stacked up with a lot of water did not see what they normally would because we're going after the infrastructure while we're looking for long-term solutions. And I will say that with that bad of a storm and that much wind, I was pleasantly surprised that we had small outages, but nothing like we've seen in previous years with that type of weather. So we still need to keep on ComEd. But just imagine if some of those areas that we're dealing with the water would have lost all their power, it would have been a totally different story. So we still need to keep on ComEd. We did have a couple of pockets, but overall, it's improved over the years. But we just need to keep the full court press, and we need your support, making sure that you let the Archdiocese of Chicago know that this project would help us all. And then we'll pray on it, and I know that miracles do happen, so thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Village Managers Report, Larry.
Thank you, Mayor and Board. The hour's late, so I'll just draw your attention to Friday's trustee information letter. We did meet with NICOR today, and I regret to tell you that the meeting was not to the success degree that I would have liked to report to you. I will be communicating both with Senator Cunningham and with our state representative, Kelly Burke, who has been watching this very carefully. A commitment was gave by NICOR, and we expect them to complete that commitment. 56 holes, 56 between the railroad tracks heading east to Walgreens and Cicero were created last fall and into the early December, part of December. Patching job was very, very difficult. Traffic was terrible during the holiday shopping season, and it was tough to navigate for a lot of our drivers. Commitment was given to repave from curb to curb Cicero, and that's what we expect, to deliver that commitment. They've changed players, they have new project managers, and we had a respectful meeting, but not a successful meeting. So I'll be giving you a copy of that letter to our delegation and comments from staff. And we have more construction coming ahead. There are still approximately 237 connections, homeowners, that do not have their parkway nor the sidewalk that was opened to do work completed. That's from a 2018 project, and now we're into June, heading towards July, 237 homeowners. Just unacceptable. And I know this board has been very concerned about NICOR, and I'll give you the update, and we'll go from there. Thank you, Mayor.
Larry, I do have a question. what can we do if they're not compliant with what we need to have done? Because I still have areas in Second District that have not been properly taken care of. Can we deny them a building permit or any type of permit to keep them from continuing to work if they're not going to have respect for our residents who pay their salaries?
I think that's an issue for discussion. When they complete this project, I'm told that in 2020, they don't have capital projects budgeted within the village. So that may be a result of how quickly and effectively they finish the current project and the open tickets for construction. And then, as a board, considering a communication to their CEO of our dissatisfaction and for any future capital projects, asking them to submit their plans well in advance of the scheduled work to determine whether or not permits were given.
But I'm not even, I'm saying right now, if they're not respecting the will of the people in the village of Oak Lawn, and that's clear, I mean, it's evident through since this project started, they have not completed up to their commitment. Is there anything we can do right now to stop them from working?
Our village engineer would like to address that.
Jack, could you grab the microphone, please? Thank you.
A lot of times we require a bond when you work in the parkway. I don't know if there's a statute that already covers NICOR. We can require a bond, a cash bond, and if they don't restore it, we use that money to do it ourselves.
Yeah, but I'm to the point where I'm aggravated with what they have done throughout the village of Oak Lawn, and I'm going to tell you in Second District, it's pitiful what they have done and how they've treated us, the citizens of Oak Lawn, and I'm just to the point where if they're not going to show us respect and take care of what their commitments are, we should be able to just tell them, we're not going to allow you to work and pull them off the streets. Are we violating any law?
Let me answer that. I've worked for a utility for a long time, and they're the big guns. That doesn't mean we can't do anything. But the problem with NICOR is that they're replacing leaky gas piping. And we don't want leaky gas piping, so the approach of having a bond might be a very good idea. But the approach of telling them that they can't work here might be counterproductive.
Okay, they replaced the leaky gas pipes 2 years ago, and they didn't fix what they wrecked when they replaced the leaky gas
Didn't say
pipes.
they do it right, they're just doing it.
I understand, but at some point, I don't want a gun held to my head. I just want them to do what's right and just. Their bill comes in once a month. I don't have the choice to say, hey, it was a tough month, I'm not going to pay you now. They should meet up to their commitments.
I agree, but the bond approach is much better.
So let's
Make it
not
expensive.
have back and forth on the board, please.
sorry.
Just if we can, thank you. I appreciate it. Okay.
So
Any-
is there any recourse legally that we have right now?
We can take a look at what we can do at the ICC like we did with ComEd. We'll take a look at Jack's cash bond idea. I'll take a look at our village ordinances. I'm unfamiliar with what's been going on in the parkway, so maybe somebody can send me a few pictures that I can take a look at it and give you some ideas and come up with some think out of the box type stuff.
I think I have quite a few pictures that I can get you, yeah.
Great, we'll just email it over to me and we can go from there.
Thank you. Anything else, Larry?
No, thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you very much. Item 13, consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda are routine or have been brought forward at the direction of the Board of Trustees and will be enacted with one motion. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. 13A is a request to approve the Planning and Development Commission referral for a two-lot subdivision at 4700 West 111th Street. This was a 6-0 vote to approve. 2019-2 Providence Bank and Trust is the petitioner in District 5. And then B is an ordinance granting that request. C is Resolution 1910-37, a resolution authorizing a professional services agreement with Christopher B. Burke Engineering Limited to perform certain engineering services pertaining to overseeing the construction of bid packet 6A of the regional water system. D is Resolution 1910-38, a resolution authorizing a professional services agreement with CDM Smith Incorporated to perform certain engineering services pertaining to a contract for the transmission main bid package 6A. E is Resolution 191039, a resolution awarding the water transmission main bid package 6A contract to Reliable Contracting and Equipment Company. F is a request of the Board of Trustees approval and direction to the Board of the Fire and Police Commission to hire one firefighter paramedic from the current eligibility list due to retirement in the Oakland Fire Department. G is a request of the Board of Trustees approval and direction to the Board of the Fire and Police Commissioners to promote one firefighter paramedic to the position of fire engineer upon a pending retirement. H is a request of the Board of Trustees approval and direction to the Board of the Fire and Police Commissioners to promote one police lieutenant and one police sergeant from the current eligibility list due to an impending retirement. I is a request to approve the temporary no parking on Kedvale between 106th and 107th Street from June 5th through June 9th. This is for the St. Catherine of Alexandria Carnival. And then we have, that's it. So may I have a motion on 13?
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Trustee Stalker made that motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Trustee Vorder. Any discussion? Let's call that vote, please.
Trustee Mello?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Trustee Phelan?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you very much. I just want to acknowledge that Providence Bank representatives are here, and it's looking very, very good at that corner of town. Welcome, and thank you for your investment in our community. Vicki, you've been in Oakland forever, past Chamber of Commerce president, always giving of your time to benefit this community. So if you haven't seen the new building, and it's a rehab building, correct? You kept the building, but stop in, say hello. Thank you. Very good. We're going to move on. Village Clerk's Report, item 14. Jane?
Right. Approval of semi-monthly disbursements, number 2019-10D, dated May 28th, 2019, in the amount of $2,059,523.78.
Thank you. May I have a motion, please, on 14A?
Motion to pay the bills.
Trustee Vorder made that motion,
Second.
seconded by Trustee Stalker. Any discussion? Let's call that vote, please.
Trustee Mello?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Trustee Phelan?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Motion passes. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Item 15, Village President's Report. I just want to talk about the Memorial Day ceremony. It was, as you've heard, extremely moving. And what made it moving, we had a few residents performing also, in addition to the words that we spoke. The performance that blew me away, they were both amazing, but we have a local resident named Jinsey Harton. And a few weeks before, he composed a Memorial Day song and sang it, and it is absolutely spectacular, moving. We had people in tears listening to it. It was really something. I want to just thank Jinsey for being so active in the community, caring, and putting into song what we all feel in our hearts but can't say or express so eloquently. I want to thank the residents for coming out. The turnout every year seems to be better and better, and that fills me with joy because freedom isn't free, and when you see kids at these events and so many people, it was really good. So that's all I have to say.
Mayor, can
Yes,
I- Yes.
sure.
I would get in trouble if I didn't mention that my future daughter-in-law sang the national anthem. She was a
And she
star.
just about makes me cry
And-
every
and-
time I hear her sing.
Yes,
So
and
beautiful.
it's important to mention that our Congressman, Dan Lipinski, has never missed these events. And he has been a very, very strong supporter, not only of the village of Oakland, but on veterans issues. I'd like to think us veterans would have fell on the sword to protect America, and I think Congressman Lipinski will fall on the sword to protect veterans. So he needs to be recognized.
Well said, well said. Thank you very much. We're going to move on to item 16. This is an executive session 2019-05 for the purpose of discussing, number 1, pending litigation, number 2, the purchase, sale, or lease of real property, 3, the information regarding the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of a specific employee or employees of the village, 4, approval of closed meeting minutes 2019-04, dated April 9th, 2019. And 5, reviewing for the release of closed meeting minutes from June 14th, 2010, number 1008, April 18th, 2011, number 1106, June 14th, 2011, number 1109, July 12th, 2011, number 1111, August 9th, 2011, number 1112, August 30th, 2011, number 1114, September 13th, 2011, number 1115, October 11th, 2011, number 1116, November 21st, 2011, number 1118, December 13th, 2011, number 1120, January 10th, 2012, number 1201, February 14th, 2012, number 1204, February 28th, 2012, number 1205, March 13th, 2012, number 1206, April 10th, 2012, number 1207, April 24th, 2012, number 1208, May 8th, 2012, number 1209, May 13th, 2014, number 1404, February 25th, 2015, number 1502, March 10th, 2015, number 1503, March 24th, 2015, number 1504, August 11th, 2015, number 1506, November 24th, 2015, number 1508, January 12th, 2016, number 1601, May 24th, 2016, number 1605, July 12th, 2016, number 1607, August 9th, 2016, number 1608, September 13th, 2016, number 1609, December 13th, 2016, number 1613, January 10th, 2017, number 1701, January 24th, 2017, number 1702, May 23rd, 2017, number 1707, August 8th, 2017, number 1709, November 28th, 2017, number 1713, December 12th, 2017, number 1714, January 9th, 2018, number 1801, January 23rd, 2018, number 1802, April 10th, 2018, number 1805, May 22nd, 2018, number 1806, June 12th, 2018, number 1807, August 14th, 2018, number 1808, October 23rd, 2018, number 1809, December 11th, 2018, number 1810, January 8th, 2019, number 1901, January 22nd, 2019, 2019-02, February 22nd, February 12th, 2019, number 1903. May I have a motion? Not a chance. Am I reading that again?
You got to memorize now.
I know. Item 16, may I have a motion, please?
Motion to adjourn.
Nope, we're going to executive session.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Oh, no.
We have a motion on item 16. May I have a second?
Approve.
Thank you. Was that a second,
I was
trustee?
moving to go in.
Okay, thank you.
Who was it, Tom?
Tom,
Okay.
any discussion? Let's call the vote, please.
Trustee
This is
Mello?
Go into executive session.
Stalker?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yep.
Trustee Phelan?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, thank you. So at that